Brad Smith getting all from West Coast as he clings to the lead from Gunnamera. IRAP is third on the inside. Cameron is fourth. It is West Coast, and he keeps on rolling. And West Coast goes wire to wire in the Travers.
Live from the backstretch at historic Saratoga Racecourse, this is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow. Racing Across America is brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. Thoroughfan, giving the fan a voice. Find them at thoroughfan.com. And Woodbine Racetrack, pick, bet, and cheer on world-class horse racing north of the border.
Good morning and welcome to Racing Across America on this Friday morning, live from the Saratoga backstretch. Seth Merrow here. Thanks for joining us. A little bit later, Michael Sternklar coming in for NYTHA. We'll talk a little bit of ownership in New York and much more. Also from NYTHA, the executive director, Andy Belfiore, will join us. And towards the end of the program, Val Buck, who has a great program, Act Naturally, retraining thoroughbred racehorses and using them therapeutically as well. We'll talk all of that coming up a little bit later on. But top of the program, happy to be joined by our friend Peter Rotundo from the Breeders' Cup, the VP of Media and Entertainment. Good morning.
How's it going, Seth?
Very good. Happy to have you join us on what is another big weekend for the Breeders' Cup and winning your end and broadcast up here at Saratoga. And let's start out just talking about that. You and I were talking before we got on air. It's been a big meet up here for the Breeders' Cup and the NBC broadcast with some of the winning your in races.
Oh yeah, we just came off Travers weekend. We had 4 winning your ins on Travers Day. We had a 2-hour show on NBC. We're coming back this weekend, 5:30 to 7, NBCSN. The Spinaway is the challenge race in the Juvenile Fillies division. Obviously, we'll be showing the Woodward as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a nice weekend on NBC with a great lineup of stakes races up here beyond what you'll see on NBC, but the 2 on NBC. I was saying during the handicappers report earlier, and I know you're a player, and I'm sure you've already looked. Woodward, I think, offers great storylines. Shishida, hence comes from Albuquerque Downs. When was the last time that happened? The preparation at Albuquerque for the Woodward. And then in the Spinaway, the sibling to American Pharoah.
I know. Yeah, the chasing yesterday, she put on a show at Del Mar, and it's so nice to see. Anytime we could get American Pharoah's name back in the mix, everything on social media and television is gonna go up. So that can't hurt. And obviously, the Woodward is so wide open. What a betting race!
Yeah. Pacific Classic, obviously, Accelerate looked good there, and Pacific Classic coming out of that one with the win. Accelerate looks good, but I wanted to also show one of the winning your in races up here and get some of your opinions on going back towards the beginning of the meet. Diversify and Mind Your Biscuits. A ding-dong battle in the stretch that Diversify wins, and so again, a nice win in your in race here. Give us your thoughts on that early stakes race up here at Saratoga.
Yeah, well, the key was Mind Your Biscuits going to get the distance. He ran really well. I mean, a mile and an eighth, he did fine. The Diversify, though, put on a show again. Just went out there and winged it on the lead. Amazing. And it's funny, I actually like Discreet Lover because I figured he'd just, suck up a piece. I was hoping he got second for the betting-wise. But Diversify, got his free entry into the Breeders' Cup, and he's going to be. I think he's going to run one more time, and then we'll get him there for the Classic.
Yeah, we had Rick Violet on the next day, and he said, Woodward's a little too soon, but probably Jockey Club Gold Cup, and then make decisions from there, obviously. But Discreet Lover looked like was going to go by, but I think that flatters Mind Your Biscuits.
Yeah,
people were questioning the distance, and I think when he saw the other horse, he was kind of like still had a little fight in him.
Totally, and he's game as could be. Mind Your Biscuits. He's going to run, I guess, back in the Lucas at Churchill Downs on September 29th, and then they'll make a decision. Will they go Classic or cut him back, maybe the mile, maybe back to the sprint? I mean, it's nice to have a horse like that.
Yeah, they were trying the 2 turns, and I think they got enough out of that to continue on with that mindset, so it's going to be interesting to see next. Wanted to get some other thoughts just this past weekend. You just had a couple winning your ends. Wanted to get your thoughts on the Abel Tasman win. and a late, I've said it the past couple of days, hopefully people can put the bumping incident behind and just recognize this will be one of the better races of the meet and probably one of the better races of the year, as the two horses you want to match up at the top of the stretch do so and ding-dong it down the lane. But again, Abel Tasman comes out with a win and you're in win.
No doubt. I mean, and she, with that, she has that little move that she does, right? Early in the race where she breaks, a little behind, and then she just rushes up. She's done this a couple of times and then gets the lead. She obviously, Mike Smith with a brilliant ride, moving when he did to get the position. He looked like he was going to get there, and that little bump at the end just obviously slowed her down. Now we're hearing Elate could make a run in the Classic. That's been the latest buzz on the backstretch, and what we're hearing. We'll find out in a couple of weeks probably if they want to move forward with that. That would make things interesting. It looks like she wants to go. Mile and a Quarter might be right up her alley, right?
And we were talking yesterday, I think it was with Dave Grenig, where he said, well, listen, do you want to go against Abel Tasman and Monomoy Girl, or do you want to go against what is currently the older handicap crop, which is still a little undefined?
Totally, exactly. And especially, they'll all be shipping back into Churchill, right? It's not like they're going to have the Californians will have their track, the New Yorkers will have theirs. They got to run at Churchill. Yeah. So, and this is the year being so wide open. Maybe it's worth a shot for sure.
And I wanted to show one more win and you're in from the past weekend, because it was a nice story. We had Ron Moquette in on Sunday and faced some health issues, but Whitmore, nice win over City of Light. That gets him a win and you're in to the dirt mile. But it was, as I say, another nice performance, and the nice thing, and you've alluded to it already with social media and whatnot, these good stories can kind of blow things up a little bit. And with Ron Moquette winning, with a horse that I kind of latched onto down at Oaklawn last year, this is a really talented sprint kind of horse. And the nice thing about Churchill Downs in the dirt mile is one turn.
That's true. And he has options, right? I mean, he could cut back, right? This was 7 furlongs, right? He might go to the sprint. Obviously, he's got the paid entry into the dirt mile. This is he ran a hell of a race. Yeah. And City of Light ran huge. He was so wide that whole way, especially on a track that it feels like you wanted to be a little closer to the rail. But he's a great story.
Yeah, it's, as I say, the win and your ins up here at Saratoga have been a lot of fun. And, of course, the NBC broadcast, which I always say, they're great for Saratoga and for horse racing fans, but you get on NBC, hopefully you're hitting a wider audience. And when we could show Saratoga, which is just such a promotion for horse racing in and of itself. And I know you've been to many tracks around the country. We were talking before we went on the air. You've been here most of the meet, but for the Breeders' Cup, you were out at Arlington for the Arlington Million and down at Monmouth for the Haskell. But just talk a little bit personally about your feelings about Saratoga.
Well, I've been coming here since I'm 4 months old. Literally, there's a photo of me in the backyard of my mom at 4 months. So it's home, right? It's like every year, you have that feeling when you drive up. You never want to leave, and no matter what happens during the racing part of it. And it's just everything they're doing with the racetrack and downtown. Everything is getting better, and if it's like you can improve on perfection. Somehow they're doing it, and I just love it up here. And I'm sad to see it end this weekend for sure.
Yeah, it's always bittersweet at the end, but part of what makes it special it is so compact, and we have to get up here during the 7 weeks, and certainly make your way up this weekend if you haven't already been here. Let's talk a little bit more Breeders' Cup, and I want to go back last week to Breeders' Cup futures. There was a future in the Classic. Accelerate winds up to be the favorite. Future in the Distaff was interesting. Monomoy Girl wound up to be the favorite in the Distaff in the BC Future Pool.
I know. Well, I feel like there's so much. She's done so well this year, winning the Oaks and then winning up here in the Alabama. She's has such a buzz about her, yeah. Right? And I feel like maybe the late news late on Sunday could have said, well, maybe he's off on her. But yeah, and she did win the Oaks, right? So did obviously Abel Tasman the year before. But I think it's just a fresher storyline with her, and she's got a lot of fans.
Yeah, I think the Future Pool is a lot of fun, and certainly it adds some juice to the Derby and Derby conversation. Nice addition to the Breeders' Cup as well, and we have a future bet coming up this weekend also.
Yeah, in the juvenile division and in the juvenile sires bet.
Yeah, I like
yeah, so basically we have we put the field out of the sires of some of the hot juveniles out there. So you never thought you'd be able to do it, but you can actually bet on Blame again. You can bet on Curlin. I think he's 30-1 right now. The favorite's Into Mischief, of course, who's the sire of Instagrand, who won by 10 or 11 lengths at Delmar last time. and looks like he might be the real deal. So yeah, the bet opens at noon today. It'll close Sunday at 6 o'clock Eastern. You can bet on all your ADWs, bet it anywhere you want, and it's something cool. This year, for the first time, what we're doing at Breeders' Cup, it's called Future Stars Friday. So we're moving all the juvenile races to the Friday, and we're branding it, right? So the idea is you have to come on Friday. You have to pay attention because you're going to see the future stars, right? Mendelssohn, Good Magic last year would have been on that day, and they wind up running in the Derby and of course, the Triple Crown. So it's going to be a huge that Friday. We want everyone to focus on it. Let's start now. So might as well get your bets in now. Right?
And highly touted, you swing by the Breeders' Cup website. You can obviously keep up with all the Breeders' Cup news, and I'm assuming you can buy tickets through the website as well.
100%. Yeah, the tickets are on sale at breederscup.com/tickets, and we have some good seats left, especially on Friday, which we're trying to get people to come out for. But it's not like sometimes we go to these smaller venues. Tickets sell out pretty quick. Tickets are still available for Churchill this year.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about Churchill. It's made for the big event, obviously, with the Kentucky Derby, so Breeders' Cup fits right into that. And speaking of venues, let's go back a couple of weeks where Breeders' Cup announced what's coming up in the next few years. 2019, back to Santa Anita. 2020, Keeneland. 2021, Del Mar. Keeneland and Del Mar were kind of experiments within the past few years, and I guess they passed with flying colors because we're going back.
Exactly. Definitely had some... folks, because they're smaller, felt maybe it would be a bit of a struggle to get people in and out of the venue and how they were going to handle it, but they both knocked it out of the park. So, of course, deserve another run at it. And Santa Anita is always great when it's at Santa Anita. It's, for the 10th time, we'll go back for that.
Yeah, I just from hearing comments and whatnot, people love Churchill because, again, it's built for a big event. People love Santa Anita because they can handle a big event and it's scenic and the weather is not a worry. But there were good comments on both Keeneland and Del Mar. I got to get it back here to New York at some point. I got to I got to be a little parochial and root for the home team and get them back here. But I'll ask you, I have been to Keeneland. I have never been to Santa Anita or Del Mar. I've heard enough about Santa Anita just to know it's a venue that I definitely have to put on the list, but one that I always wanted to visit and haven't had a chance, just because for most of the life of the venue, it's overlapped Saratoga, but I guess I could go to the fall meet now. But what are your thoughts, Del Mar? I love the fact that as a former lifeguard myself, albeit at a country club swimming pool and not the ocean, but I do love the ocean. I love that whole scenario of there's the beach right across the street from Del Mar.
But it's literally across the street. So I lived there. I moved there to get ready for Breeders' Cup last year, so I was there for 8 months. And I would walk to the track from where I was living. And the beach is there, and the track is there, and it's such a nice environment. It's so beautiful. Everybody there is nice. They're happy to have you, and they put on a great show. There's no doubt about it. And the races were great last year, and it'll be great to go back there. No, for sure.
Yeah, and people often compare Del Mar to Saratoga because they're the two summertime venues. And to me, I always say, I don't know whether we have to compare and say one is better than the other. I think it's great for racing in America that we have two summertime venues, one on one coast and one on the other, that are so popular.
Exactly. It's like having two great football teams, one in LA and one in New York. I mean, that's exactly what it is. And you can have the best of both worlds. Now that like you said, so they have a November meet, they have a fall meet. So if you're here for the summer, you can make it out for a weekend.
Yeah, I'm going to have to do that. I got a couple of nephews out in L.A., so I'll go out there and maybe kind of overlap somehow so I can stay for Santa Anita and catch some Del Mar somehow. I'll work that out. I know you're a player. We remember you from the TV show going back a few years, so give me your recap as we now are on the last weekend of the meet. How was your Saratoga meet? For me, I zigged when I should have zagged. The weather has played into a little bit. I think I've been picking pretty well. The last couple of days have been frustrating because I picked pretty well, and when I go up to the window, somehow I make the wrong decision. But it's been a little tough. But how about you?
Right. Yeah, it started off slow. Again, the picking was there, and then when I would send it in, let's say, I would lose. But when I would go easy, I would hit. So we're trying to straighten that out. We hit a couple of pick fours last week. This is it, right? So after Saturday, my last work day, be here Sunday, Monday, I'll be in the backyard, just lighting it all in for one final run. But it's been good. No, I mean, definitely not bad. It just hasn't been perfect as far as from the betting. But look at these fields coming up with these last 3-4 days. It's going to be tremendous.
Yeah, it is going to be a great weekend. And again, NBC broadcast Saturday again, times?
5:30 to 7 Eastern on NBCSN. We're going to show the 3 live race, three of the stakes, obviously spin away in the Woodward.
And I'm being reminded, Offset, give us an update on following on social media for the Breeders' Cup.
Yes.
He's a former guest.
I know. So there she is, showing up. So, yeah, basically you want to go follow us on Twitter. We're at Breeders' Cup, Facebook, all behind-the-scenes stuff. That's what the social media team is out there this morning, getting all behind-the-scenes stuff you're not going to find anywhere else. So I would definitely check us out on all the channels. Hashtag winning you're in. If you want to make any posts, we'll retweet you. We'll try to get you on NBC too.
Very good. Peter Rotundo from the Breeders' Cup. And again, the winning you're in race this weekend is the spin away, but watch also on the broadcast, obviously, the Woodward as well. We'll be watching going forward. What's coming up as far as broadcasts?
We take a bit of a break, then we're at Super Saturday at Santa Anita, September 29th for a 2-hour show. We'll be showing all the races at Belmont earlier in the day. Our windows from 7 to 9 Eastern, so we can't obviously get them in live. And then we go to Keeneland back-to-back on NBC on the Saturday, Sunday of Keeneland opening weekend, Fall Stars weekend. And then we take a couple of weeks off, and then we're back to, then it's Breeders' Cup weekend.
Very good.
Yeah.
Wish you a lot of luck going forward in the lead up to the Breeders' Cup, and obviously the Breeders' Cup down at Churchill this year.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Peter Rotundo, we'll take a break. When we come back, Michael Sternclar will join us, owner, NYTHA representative this morning. So we'll talk a little bit about that and much more coming up. Stay tuned.
Birdstone is an outside front. They're coming down to the finish. Can Smarty Jones hold on? Here comes Birdstone. Birdstone surges past. Birdstone wins the Belmont Stakes.
You know, and make better decisions, better choices, to know how to connect the dots. In horse racing, knowledge is a powerful tool, but not the only tool. Race results and replays, past performances and live streaming, wagering from all your digital devices. These too are important tools, and you'll find them all right here at Capital OTB. Capital OTB. Become a better horse player.
The backstretch workers are the heart and soul of what we do.
They're the backbone of the industry.
People on the racetrack are very giving people.
It's a very oppressive community of people helping one another. We see it all the time.
Any help we need it. It's right there in our hands.
It makes so much easier in the family to have somebody like NYTHA to help them.
Looking for a fantastic meal? Stop by Malcolm's, a unique farm-to-table restaurant experience. Located at 617 Union Street in Schenectady, Malcolm's offers locally grown fresh foods, mouth-watering flavors, an enhanced drink menu, and terrific service. Malcolm's is a sure bet during Saratoga season. Make your reservation today.
Chain, living it up, living it up, living it up. Pin sack and gold trails, living, trilling the cut, trilling the cut.
Welcome back to Racing Across America on a Friday morning, live from the Saratoga backstretch. As promised before the break, joined now by Michael Sternclar, owner, Clear Stars Stable. So, Michael, good morning.
Hey, thanks for having me, Seth.
Happy to have you. We were talking a little bit during the break, and you were talking about how fun it is to be part of the game on the ownership side of things, and how you have people walk up to you a lot during the day and kind of introduce and want to learn more about it. Talk a little bit about that aspect.
Yeah, it's we started doing this about 15 years ago, and it was just me and a buddy of mine, typical someday we'll own horses, and we woke up and decided we can actually do it. And then from there, it's been, friends and family started getting interested, and can we get in the game, and how do you do it? And it's one of those things that everyone wants to do, but no one knows how to do. And there's not a day that goes by during the Saratoga meet where somebody doesn't introduce me to somebody else who wants to, see what it's like. And it's a rare thing. You can invest a relatively small amount of money and do all the things that owners do, get into the paddock, go to the backstretch, all those things.
And it's a great way to get introduced to the game and maybe then move on to a bigger portion of ownership. But you can jump into one of these partnerships and do it reasonably.
Yeah, I mean, it depends whether you're claiming a horse or you're going to the sales. In our situation, $2,500, $5,000, and boom, you're an owner. And there's nothing like walking out of the paddock watching your horse run at Saratoga.
How did you get into the game?
I said my college roommate and I used to come to Saratoga and literally split $5 bets and dream that one day we owned horses. And about 2005, he calls me up. He says, we actually make money now. We can do this. And so I went to go see a gentleman named Mike Garrity. I don't know if you know Mike. He's, in my opinion, the best equine artist in the game. But more importantly, he knows everything there is to know about horse racing and all the relevant players. And like I do in my business life, I need the best people. And so I went for him for recommendation. He said to me, Rick Schosberg's your guy. I met Rick, who's a great horseman and a great guy, and we just kind of went on ever since. And we'd buy a horse, and we'd buy 2 horses, went to the sales. And we usually have between 5 and 8 horses at any one time. Mostly, if not exclusively, New York breds, because if you're going to race in New York, it's frankly silly not to have New York bred. So.
And the New York bred program is great on the owner side, on the breeding side. But boy, how about the 10-day period from the Whitney through the sales they had a couple of weeks ago for the New York breds?
Yeah, it's great to see, because we feel like the stepchild half the time, and to see the New York breds perform on the big stage, it just helps the overall game. Anything that's good for the game is good for the owners. So, and the New York breds really stepped forward. It was great to see.
I'll have you relate, because you told me the story a little bit earlier, that obviously you got into the game and became an owner and had the fun, and the family got involved too. And you talked about your son when he's 9 years old getting a call from the teacher.
Well, it's a funny story. My first win ever was in 2005 at Saratoga. So it's your first win, which is big enough, but a win at Saratoga is like 3 wins anywhere else. I'm kind of a buttoned-up guy, business guy, and all I remember is the race going off, and then I'm in the winner's circle, and I don't remember anything in between. And my kids are staring at me like, who is this man that looks like my father? But after that summer, my son, who I think was about 9 at the time, goes back to school, and we get a phone call from his teacher. And the teacher says, I just want to relay a story about your son, Andrew. We're talking about what the kids did on their summer vacation, and Andrew talked about how his horse got out to the lead too fast and got nipped at the wire and how mad he was. And she just says, we don't get those stories very much. And I just said, I'm doing my job as a father. And now it's 15 years later, and both my kids spent 2 weekends at the meet this year, and we had a great time.
Yeah, that's great. And you've already alluded to it, but talk about being an owner, but maybe beyond being an owner, just being a fan and what Saratoga means.
It is my favorite place on the planet, and I've traveled all over the world, and it is my favorite place on the planet. It is as you know, the world descends on this small town, and at any moment you can look to the left of you and speak to somebody who's got $5 in their pocket and wants to put it on a horse, and you can look to the right of you and see somebody who's flown in on their private jet, and it really doesn't matter. Everybody's there for the same reason. Everyone wants to have fun. It's a community that I love. I think that's the word that comes to mind for me, that horse racing, and specifically Saratoga, is a community, and it's a community I want to be part of.
That seems to be the thought that people have when they talk about Saratoga. But I will also relate, that seems to be the thought people have when they talk about ownership, because I've gone down to Andy Serling radio show at the Parting Glass on Thursday nights this month, and he's had a number of owners on. And that seems to be a common theme. They all say, I love the people involved in the game. That's what kind of drew me in.
I've said to folks numerous times, I was on the backstretch this morning like I am every morning. When my horse runs, obviously that's the most exciting part, but I actually would rather spend time on the backstretch in the morning and the race in the afternoon, because everybody there is there for the same reason. Everybody's happy to be there. Everyone's got a story to tell. Now, when I'm on the backstretch at Belmont in February, maybe it's not as much fun, but I'm still there, and it is a great time. And that's actually why, for the owners that I work with, we've really kept it to friends and family. This is not what I do for a living. It's how I'm going to support my family, but everybody involved with us is here to just be part of this community and enjoy and have a good time and make a few dollars if we can. And it is the best part of the game.
Yeah, and on the ownership side of things, you want to win, but a lot of it is just the fun and the camaraderie, and being up here at Saratoga multiplies that. I like what you said. One win up here is like 3 any place else.
It sure is. I used to, like a lot of people, I'd come for a weekend and then I'd come for a week, and then I realized I was spending $30,000 a year on hotel rooms, and decided that maybe I need to do another path. But now, my fiance and I own a house up here, and we spend the 7 weeks up here, and it's all around the racing. But because there's such energy, everything we do here is multiplied.
Yeah.
Right? Everything is great.
No, at the radio show last night, Sterling, I was sitting at a table having my usual Thursday night hot turkey while I watched the radio.
Yeah,
but
good
the people sitting next to there was a couple sitting who recognized me from TV, started a conversation, and they said, a few years ago we come up for 4 days of meet, and then it became 8 days, and now we come up for the whole meet.
Why not?
In the same ballpark. All right, speaking of Saratoga, I went back and looked, going back a ways, but I wanted to show a stakes win. Nothing like a stakes win up here at Saratoga, so we're going to watch the Seeking the Ante back in 2014. My Four Chicks again. Rick Schosberg and Clear Star, and so My Four Chicks again. We're on a little bit of a delay here, but you can talk about again, as you say, a win up here like 3 any place else. But how about a stakes win up at Saratoga?
How about a stakes win for a maiden? At 8-1, no doubt. Yeah, My Four Chicks, we bought her as a 2-year-old at the Ocala sale, and I go every sale with Rick, except for this one. I couldn't make it. So we had done all our pre-work beforehand, and Rick calls me up and said, I just met her. I'm like, you met who? And he said, she walked out of the stall, and she's the one. And I cannot explain to you why. And I trust Rick completely, and she was on our list. And, she was great. So she came in second in her first race up here at Saratoga, ran well, and we said, why not? I think it was the first year of the Seeking the Ante, $200,000. And she always did everything right in the morning, and she really gave us the thrill of a lifetime. It was sensational.
Yeah, that's got to be great. As you say, standing in the winner's circle, Saratoga, something for a stake, even better. And with a maiden that steps it up even another notch.
She had a great career. She actually, interesting, she got hurt in that race, and we got her back racing, and she had a good career. We just sold her as a broodmare down in Ocala last November, so she's in foal as we speak, I assume, and we're looking forward to her next career. She's just a wonderful mare.
We're also going to take a look going back to last year, because you and I were laughing before we went on the air. Had Rick Schosberg on earlier, and he mentioned it. This is the last race of 2017, virtually the last race of the meet. Schosberg was still on the duck, but Sandy Bell goes up, gets a nice win for you guys, and gets Schosberg off the duck in the last race of the 2017 meet. That had to be a great feeling. To put a little exclamation point on Saratoga 2017.
Yeah, there was 7 of us left at the racetrack at the time. You see her 9 to 5, and I was telling you before, Seth, this is a funny story. So, Rick's been in this game for 30 years, and I'm close to that, and we think we know what we're doing. So we kept putting this horse on the turf, and she ran okay, but we were sure she was a turf horse. So, of course, this race got rained off the turf, and you can see, she won by a pole. She won 3 more races in the next 2 months on the dirt, and I guess she's a dirt horse. So she'll be racing actually opening day at Belmont.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that.
Very good.
Fast filly.
Yeah, so again, a couple of wins there, a stake, and that last win on the win on the last day, the last race last year. Clear Stars Stable.
Thank you, Seth.
What's coming up next? Will that be the next start for you guys? Opening day?
Yeah, we're
Sandy Bell.
Sandy Bell's opening day at Belmont. We've got 2 really nice 2-year-olds we bought at the Timonium sale. One's name's Mary's Girl, who has 2/3 up here, and I think she's going to do quite well. And another, a Factor filly by a Tappan mare named Movies in Time. To add 2-year-olds to the races at Saratoga is a feat among itself, and we think they'll both do quite well.
Very good. And again, Yeah, I think we can see by your enthusiasm how much fun it is to be an owner,
Yeah.
and certainly to be an owner.
It is the most,
Saratoga.
with all respect to my children, I love them. They know how this is the most fun thing in my life. So yeah, it's great.
I can see it, and I see it whenever we get the owners sitting it up there. Mike, appreciate the visit. Good luck going forward.
Seth, thank you.
Michael Sternclar will take a break. More NYTHA, Executive Director from the New York Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association, Andy Belfiore, will join us. A little bit later, Val Buck with the Act Naturally program that takes care of retired thoroughbreds, and then they're used for therapeutic purposes. All of that coming up. Stay tuned.
For 4 generations, Bruce Cerrone and his family have continued the 96-year tradition of delighting their local following and faithful summer crowd with the finest authentic Italian recipes. Classic Italian dishes made with the freshest ingredients and served in a home-like setting, where everyone is welcome. Some things have changed in the last 96 years, but not Pinnell's commitment to the finest in Italian cuisine. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, just minutes from the track.
Sign up today for Capital OTB's handicapping series and plan your trip to Las Vegas.
Visit Rivers Casino and Resort, the Capital Region's only destination for live table game action and the hottest new slots paying out millions. And they're off. Horse betting is now at Rivers Casino and Resort with Capital off-track betting terminals and live tellers located just off the gaming floor at Van Slyck's. Get in on all the action at Rivers Casino and Resort.
Funding your Capital OTB bet account is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Easy Money. Clearly the fastest and easiest method of depositing funds into your account. Make deposits or withdrawals in just minutes. 2. Green Dot Money Pack. Gives you instant access to your funds. Green Dot Money Packs are available at thousands of retailers nationwide. And 3. MasterCard Visa. Simply click on the link from the funding page, enter your account information, and fund your account. CapitalOTBBet.com. Log on today.
Welcome back to Racing Across America, Friday morning as we are wrapping up the Saratoga meet, but still 4 days left. So still plenty of time to enjoy the racing. Throughout the meet, leading up to this last 4 days, we have plugged in some of the NYTHA folks. Happy to have them as a sponsor this year, and happy to talk a little bit about the ownership side of the game and the great programs that NYTHA does. But we thought we would get it right from the top. The Executive Director, Andy Belfiore, will join us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Happy to have you join us. As I say, we appreciate your sponsorship throughout the year, and it's been fun to talk to folks like Michael Sternclar, who, again, you can just see when we get the owners in here, the enthusiasm they have for the game, and it ramps up 2 or 3 points up here at Saratoga, obviously.
Yeah, and we love to highlight the owners because sometimes they don't get enough of the spotlight, you know, and they're the ones investing all the money. That's why we all have jobs. So, you know, we really wanted to be able to, you know, showcase some of the people that are doing that for us.
I went down the stretch a few weeks ago to see you in your office, and it's got to be like the greatest office in all of business, I think. As a horse racing fan, I'm not parsing out. To me, it's like the middle of the backstretch is your office.
Yeah, I look out on the horses in the morning training, in the afternoon racing. You know, I'm surrounded by all my backstretch people. It's wonderful.
Again, as the executive director, and we've talked to some of the other NYTHA people during the meet, but remind us, what's the mission of the New York Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association?
Our mission is basically threefold. Number one, we are focused on benevolence for the backstretch. So we need to take care of the people that care for the horses, which is the BEST motto, and BEST is one of our, you know, biggest partners back here. We donate about $683,000 last year to their program. And they provide everything from a healthcare clinic to substance abuse counseling, eye care, dental care, translation services, all kinds of things like that. We work with the chaplaincy, who does a really great recreation program for the people. So that's the main focus, but we also are very focused on advocating for our horsemen. So we spend a lot of time in Albany. If there's legislation or gaming commission regulations that affect horsemen, we're focused on making sure the horseman's point of view is heard. And then the horses themselves, of course, we have our Take the Lead and Take Two aftercare programs to make sure that they're cared for.
And that, of course, has been a real issue for the past 5 or 10 years, and it's been nice. We had Rick Jasper, see Rick out there right now. I had Rick in the other day, and he was talking about some of the aftercare things, and it's great that has become kind of a focus, and certainly in New York, a primary focus. But also, as you mentioned, the backstretch people down at Belmont, the Belmont Child Care Association, a nice facility to have up there. It was nice to hear Michael Dove considering one up here, and the backstretch people are such a backbone of the industry. It's great to know that the horsemen and the owners and whatnot make that a focus here in New York, because again, they're the backbone of an industry that is really a 24/7, 365 kind of an industry, and in New York that is kind of a focus.
Yeah, and it's a community back here, and sometimes there's a question as to who's supposed to support the backstretch. Well, in any business, you want to support your community. You want to make sure that the people that you're affecting have what they need. And so I think it's all of our responsibilities, from the horsemen to the racetrack to the gaming commission to the legislation, to make sure that our racetrack community has what they need.
We were talking earlier with one of the NYTHA folks, was it Rob? Might have been Rob Masiello when he came in, talked about going to try to put together one of those ownership groups like they've done down at Churchill, do a similar kind of thing up here in New York to pull people in for a very reasonable amount of money. At Churchill, it's worked out great. They have a couple of really nice horses. We'll see if it can work out, but I think that's a great idea to again, we need more owners in the game, and if we can pull them in a little bit of a reasonable amount and then get them into the game and get them to see how much fun it is, I think that'll then broaden the base generally.
Yeah, and it's, really to give them an inside look as the good and the bad, what are the costs? What can happen when you own a racehorse? But also, what's the fun? I'm enjoying having a horse in a race. I get to tour the backstretch. I get to meet a lot of cool people. There'll be a huge education component. Teach them about how to handicap, what do vets do, what do blacksmiths do, all of that, will be part of the experience that they get.
Yeah, looking forward to that, and maybe following some of those horses, because down at Churchill, it's kind of fun to root for a group of newbies like that, and it'll be fun.
And it will be a New York bred,
yeah.
Of course.
Oh, there you go. Which, as I said earlier with Michael, the New York breds, there was a 10-day period. I mean, the whole meet has been great, but there was a 10-day period where first and second in the Whitney, and then $1 million seller at the open sale, the great sale on the weekend, Voodoo Song, and Sue's Fortune, I think it was, winning the 2-year-old filly stake for Jeremiah. And as I say, it was just kind of a crazy 10-day period for the New York breds.
Diversify
and your biscuits, absolutely. It was just, as I say, a spectacular stretch. Give us a little perspective on, obviously, up here at Saratoga, all the guests we've had in, and Michael showed his enthusiasm as an owner. Love to be up here, but this is just one component in the New York circuit for owners, and a lot of them, the winter time is just as important, or maybe more important than the summertime for a lot of folks. So just give us a little overview from the NYTHA perspective of the New York racing year.
Year-round racing is vital to New York, to the horsemen, and to the economy of the state. As long as we keep the industry going year-round, then we have year-round jobs, we have year-round effect on the economy. And, the horse racing and the equine industry is the second biggest agribusiness in New York. And it's like 42,000 full-time jobs. It's over $5 billion in economic impact. And if you take that year-round component out, horsemen leave, they may not come back. Jobs go, they don't come back. So you have to keep it going year-round. And that's why we're working so hard to promote year-round racing with some of these programs. The Starter Loyalty Program has been fantastic. We saw it with Voodoo Song. He was eligible for that, so he got a nice bump in 5% extra purse money. The $300 per start credit to help people offset the cost of workers' comp. just the fact that the purses here in the winter, they're second biggest in the country. I think it's something owners really need to think about. Like, you have a better chance to at least break even if you're running for the bigger purses.
And again, relate to us, obviously, again, year-round. It is all very important, but when we've had owners in there, they've talked to us, and you must hear it at night, just how important Saratoga is, and how much fun it is to be an owner up here. Michael was talking about bringing people onto the backstretch, and all the folks we've had with the partnerships talk about bringing people back here. And you want to win races, that's what it's all about, but the camaraderie and the fun you can have in the mornings and over in the afternoons, sitting with a group of people, and just, I said to Michael, as I've talked to owners and heard owners talk during the meet, you continually hear, what pulls me into the game is the people involved in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's everyone from, the cool characters on the backstretch, the hot walkers, the grooms, the exercise riders, to, the big names that own the horses, the trainers that are training them, everybody involved. It's security guards. You get to know, like, all the different people back here, and it's a family.
You make a great point, because I walk up to the press box every day, and I know all the ushers and the security guards, and shoot the breeze every day as I walk up to my perch, and you get to know the people. And at the end of the season, it's long goodbyes and shaking hands on that last day, and then when you come back, you catch up over the first couple of days, and a lot of that happens up here certainly every summer, and again, that's part of what makes it so special.
Yeah, no, and everybody, front side, back side, you make such good friends, and they're lifelong.
I will ask you, I don't think I've ever asked this before, how did you become involved in the horse racing game?
I worked on the backstretch. I had horses growing up. I was going to be a jockey, that's what I thought. And, at 5'8" and not that good of a rider, that didn't work out. But I was a hot walker, groom, exercise rider, assistant trainer, went through that whole thing, and was about 15 years working on the backstretch. And then, really liked to write as well as ride. So I got worked for the NYRA press office for a while, and then went and was the editor-in-chief of the Thoroughbred Daily News.
And been at NYTHA for
7.5 years. 2012 I started.
And the rest of you guys based up here?
No, we're based wherever the racing is. So,
okay, which makes sense. You got the office right on the backstretch.
Yep. So at Belmont, we're in the basement, clubhouse elevator, and Aqueduct.
Past the Belmont office.
Yep. And then Aqueduct, we're right around the corner from the racing office.
Very good. Well, again, we were happy to have you guys sponsor us this season, and plug in some NYTHA people to talk a little bit about how fun ownership is and just the racing scene in general. You have the annual report there, and that came out. That's a fairly new edition, right? That just came out recently?
Yeah, this came out, our fiscal year ends May 31st, so this came out around July 1st. It's on our website right on the homepage.
Yes, I checked that out earlier if people want to check that. Also, I will alert people to go to the NYTHA webpage. Have a nice newsletter. The summer newsletter just came out fairly recently as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
Where there was one of the articles was "Rain, Rain, Go Away," which we all thought, but the last week and a half have been great. So knock wood, this last weekend will continue. It looks like that's going to be the game plan. So hopefully everybody goes away happy from the last 4 days on the ownership side of things, and then the move down to Belmont opening day Friday, right?
Yeah.
So again, we appreciate not only the sponsorship but the visit this morning.
Well, thank you. You guys do a great job and get the word out about racing and let our owners speak, so thank you.
That's the game plan. Andy Belfiore from the New York Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association. We'll take a break. When we come back, Val Buck, Act Naturally is her organization, retired thoroughbreds, retraining them and using them in a therapeutic purpose to help people as well. All of that coming up when we come back here on Racing Across America. Stay tuned.
Bet and cheer on live racing from Woodbine and Mohawk Park. thoroughbred and harness action. The wagers are just the beginning. Watch award-winning broadcasts covering both breeds, incredible battles contested over the most unique grass course in North America. Experience the full fields with over 130 thoroughbred and 160 live harness days. Get access to free handicapping material and join the ranks of Woodbine and Mohawk Park players from all over the globe. For more information, visit woodbine.com.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Whoops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
The backstretch workers are the heart and soul of what we do.
They're the backbone of the industry.
People on the racetrack are very giving people.
It's a very oppressive community of people helping one another. We see it all the time.
Any help we need it. It's right there in our hands.
It makes so much easier in the family to have somebody like Nathan to help them.
A day at the track isn't complete without a night at the Horseshoe. Great food, hot music, and cold drinks. So why go downtown when all the action's just across from the track? The Horseshoe Inn at the corner of Nelson and Gridley.
Welcome back to Racing Across America. Friday morning, Seth Merrow in here as promised before the break, joined by our friend Val Buck. She has Act Naturally. We'll hear all about that. Easy for me to say. We'll hear all about that in just a moment. Val, good morning.
Good morning.
It's the end of the meet.
Yeah, I understand. It's been a long summer.
Exactly. But certainly wanted you to come in and talk a little bit about Act Naturally. We've been talking about having you come in during the meet. As we were talking during the break, you got some big things coming up. We want to hit on all of that, but before we do, wanted to show everybody Her Life magazine, and I think we actually have a graphic showing the cover. This is the one you can pick up at your local supermarket. Highly recommended. Val Buck, cover girl.
Yeah.
Nice job.
I've got a centerfold shot in there too.
Absolutely. And again, it covers what you're doing up at the Act Naturally organization. And great job, obviously, with the cover and inside as well. But fill us in. The article does a great job, but fill us in just the mission and what you do with Act Naturally.
Very first, I want to mention Andy Balfour, who was here earlier with NYTHA and Take the Lead. They've been great supporters to us, and really appreciate the support from NYTHA and all the New York trainers and jockeys and owners.
We had Rick in earlier, Rick Schosberg, talking a little bit about the aftercare, and it's become more of a focus for the New York horsemen, which is a good thing, obviously.
New York is really paving the way of all the states across the country in aftercare, and we are so happy to be part of this whole thing. I got involved with volunteering for the TRF, and then supplied the horses for the Saratoga Warhorse organization for the first 3 years there, and left to I really wanted to help women, and so I left and started my program out in Washington County on a beautiful 165-acre farm. It's just a peaceful place to be, and then to be with the horses is amazing. So we've been, over the last 5 years, conducting programs mostly geared towards women. We started a team leadership program, and this fall, our Hearts in Harmony program is going to cover our basic women, our female veterans. We're opening the doors to co-ed veterans, first responders, and my favorite is working with the teenage kids. And Chad Brown is sponsoring, he's a local guy, he went to Mechanicville High School, and he's sponsoring 10 kids from his high school to come out for a 5-week program at our farm to work with the horses. And what we teach is mutual respect, healthy boundaries, how your energy affects your environment. And we've had huge success. I've had parents after these programs are over to talk to me about how I've given them their kid back. They were locked in their room and didn't socialize with the family, and they come home from this program talking about the horses. We have a young lady, she has selective mutism. She's a granddaughter of a veteran that's been through our program. She doesn't speak outside of her house, and when she goes home, she rode my horse Butter, and she went home and just couldn't stop talking about the program. So we're seeing real results. I have other horses on my farm that are not thoroughbreds, and I've helped other people with their horses that are not thoroughbreds. I have to say that I love working with the thoroughbred horses because they're so sensitive. And it's what makes them a flighty animal, but with our program, our natural horsemanship, we're able to get these horses to become calm, willing partners. We had the YMCA camp, the Battenkill YMCA camp out last week. They're a branch of the Saratoga YMCA. The kids learned all about horsemanship, from catching the horses out in the field, bringing them in, cleaning them up, picking their feet. These are 6 to 12-year-olds, and they rode our thoroughbreds in rope halters, no bits in their mouth, by themselves. So our program is really going well. Our horses love their participation. We've had people, I rarely look to home these horses when they're ready to go on to new homes, because people are coming to us. We have a good reputation of a good, sound-minded horse, and we send our horses out to have fun. We're not big into competition. It's all about having fun, being safe, and the great relationship you can have with these horses.
Talk a little bit about your background and how you got into this, because things started out on the racetrack, and when I looked doing some bio information, there was a picture of you working, I believe it was Rags to Riches, correct? So talk a little bit about your background on the racetrack and how you started.
Well, I got a pony. My parents surprised me with my lesson pony when I was 12 years old for Christmas. I thought she'd been sold off to somewhere, and we went to a stable near the house in northeast Philadelphia, and there was my pony. Her name was Foxy Lady, and that took me on to working at the racetrack at Keystone Racetrack. Some people might remember that Parks at one time. Sure. I'm dating myself.
I'm right there.
Garden State Park opened in '85. That took me to Monmouth Park, and then I hooked up with the Wayne Lucas organization and went to California and started yearlings out there. We started the first crop of Stormcat foals out there, yearlings, and had the great pleasure of riding some Spain Surfside, Proud Citizen, Charismatic. I worked for Bill Mott for a little while and rode a lot of beautiful, wonderful champions there. I worked for Richard Mandela, of course Wayne Lucas, and I finished my career with Todd Pletcher, where I rode Rags to Riches and Super Saver and Fleet Indian, Octave, Wait a While. But my heart has always been worried about the horses that didn't have a place to go. And, meeting Diana Pikulski from the Thoroughbred Retirement Foundation, we are really great friends and do a lot of work together, support each other. I can't do what I do without her, but she got me involved in rescue. And it's really, if you have a chance to pick up this magazine and read this article, it kind of tells you about how I live the best life anybody could live, because I do what I love to do, and I get to share it with other people. And really looking forward to this fall and the programs that we have. I left the track after some injuries and being diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and just really have found my niche in this. And we're 5 years old as an organization, and I think our next 5 years are just going to be able to do fantastic things.
Reading the article, I became aware of, as you transitioned from the racetrack into what you're doing now, you took lessons in kind of natural horsemanship, horse whispering, as it were, which is a way of communicating to horses in the language they understand. Talk a little bit about that.
I was introduced to Pirelli Natural Horsemanship by Bob Duncan, who is Diana Pikulski's husband. Most of you know him as the New York Racing Association starter for many years. he introduced me in, after a horse got injured in a horse trailer and I couldn't get him back in. Bob came and helped me, and that was the beginning. I took a horse. I was injured myself in 2009. I had a bad injury. I broke my neck, and there's Bob in that picture right there with Teresa Gennaro and Richie Migliori.
Yeah.
But I spent that winter with this particular horse. Butter is his name. His racing name was Three Lions. He was a $290,000 yearling that I rode at Todd Pletcher's barn, and he's my soulmate, this horse. And I went to the Pirelli Ranch in Florida, in Ocala, Florida in 2010, and it completely changed my life and my relationship with horses. And I came back to work for at the track for a little while longer, but my heart had moved on to working with horses here. And this is, like I said, we ride these horses with we go out trail riding, no bit in their mouth, bareback, rope halter. These thoroughbreds, they're just horses. And if you can get their minds to remember that, get them back into the herd, it's mutual respect, healthy boundaries, leadership. And these are all lessons that we teach these horses that we can take into our own life with our relationships with our coworkers, our teachers, our children, our everything. It's just amazing what the horses can teach us if we open up our hearts to learn from them.
You've talked about some of the stories, and you have to be just absolutely proud when you get some of those feedback from parents like that, the children that have benefited from it, and as you say, women and post-traumatic stress syndrome and that kind of thing. But I've talked to you, obviously, in previous years, and other folks, the war horse folks and whatnot. There is something about horses and the therapeutic benefit of being near a horse. What is that? People and horses seem to have some kind of bond.
Well, one of the things that we talk a lot about in our program is that the prey-predator relationship. Humans are predators and horses are prey animals. And when you work on that relationship and you understand what it is to be a prey animal, and to understand how much trust it is for them to give over to us. And when you are able to do that, and when you open up your heart and open up that sacred space between you and the horse, it's amazing what they can give back to you. I've seen some things in the round pen and at the farm with these horses when people are struggling that there's no words to put to it. It's just, it's amazing to see the transformation that people can make and that the horses can make together.
Yeah, it's as I say, talking to folks like you and whatnot, it just seems like there is something special that goes on there. Give us a little update. You say you have some big things coming up in the fall, but I went to the website and I noticed you have some things coming up really immediately after the meet. A volunteer orientation coming up the day after the meet ends on September 2nd, and then September 6th, you're also going to have a natural horsemanship clinic. So talk a little bit about those events.
Yeah, so we actually have a volunteer orientation day this Sunday at the farm out in Cambridge from 1 to 4. We always need volunteers, and it's hands-on with the horses. It's helping with fundraising, social media. There's so many things that need to be done, writing thank you notes, making appointments. So we're looking for volunteers always. We're looking for sponsorships, people to sponsor veterans to come through the program. We can't do this without money, of course. And while we wish we could give it all away for free, there's the bills to pay, horses to feed, the farrier, the vet, the insurance, everything. So we always need sponsorship. If anybody's interested in sponsoring a veteran through our program, you're more than welcome to contact me directly, go through our website. And then we have a natural horsemanship clinic coming next week. And then we have a full program this fall. We're working with veterans, first responders, women, the Chad Brown students. We're hoping to get Chad out to the farm with the kids so that the kids can meet him and thank him for his generous support for this. We're really excited. I think this fall is we've just took in a horse named Furious Warrior. He was trained by Michelle Nihei, and his exercise rider fell in love with him and promised him she'd look after him. And so the partnership that owned this horse, they were directed by the exercise rider that when his career was over, he was coming to us. Well, he was retired this summer, and the connections to this horse, this partnership, are just a team of amazing people The one main partner was Brigadier General in the Army in the first Gulf War, and he's super excited about his horse participating in our programs and working. So he's going to the farm today. We're going to take him out there and get him started in the round pens. This first day he's had his downtime, and we're ready to get him back to work in our programs for his second career. And just a really great group of people. We've got one guy's a landscaper. He's going to come to the farm and help us with some landscaping. We're excited about the connections with Furious Warrior. It's a good team.
And we just showed the website address up there, so I'm assuming folks can go to the website, use the contact information, and get in touch if they'd like to become a volunteer or learn more about the programs. And you and I were talking before you went on the air. The farm's really just a half an hour away from Saratoga.
It's a beautiful place and a beautiful drive out there. You're always welcome to come out. Just get in touch with us and schedule a visit. We're always welcoming people to come out to learn what we do. It's an open door policy. We'd love people to come out. The more people that can come out and see what we're doing, the more people can spread the word and help us be more successful with helping these horses get onto safe careers. And the people that come through our programs, it's amazing the work that these horses are doing for us, and we're so happy to be growing, and the support from the racing community, and really appreciate you spending some time with me today. I appreciate it.
Happy to do it because, again, it's a great organization. Act naturally, and anytime you can, have a win-win for the racehorses off the racetrack to give them a second career, and for that to then benefit some people who maybe need a little help as well. As I say, it's a win-win situation. So, Val, appreciate the visit, and congratulations on what's gone down so far. Good luck in the future.
Okay, we'll see you again next summer.
And don't forget, pick up your copy of Her Life. You can pick it up. It's pretty much a freebie at all the local supermarkets. I got mine at the Hannaford out here, but I think it's at the Price Choppers as well. So folks can pick it up, and the article is a lot of fun. So congratulations there as well.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take a break. Come back. More Racing Across America right after this. Stay tuned.
Birdstone is an outside front. They're coming down to the finish. Can Smarty Jones hold on? Here comes Birdstone. Birdstone surges past. Birdstone wins the Belmont Stakes.
You know, and make better decisions, better choices, to know how to connect the dots. In horse racing, knowledge is a powerful tool, but not the only tool. Race results and replays, past performances and live streaming, wagering from all your digital devices. These too are important tools, and you'll find them all right here at Capital OTB. Capital OTB. Become a better horse player.
The backstretch workers are the heart and soul of what we do.
They're the backbone of the industry.
People on the racetrack are very giving people.
It's a very impressive community of people helping one another. We see it all the time.
Any help we need it. It's right there in our hands.
It makes so much easier in the family to have somebody like Naita to help them.
Looking for a fantastic meal? Stop by Malcolm's, a unique farm-to-table restaurant experience. Located at 617 Union Street in Schenectady, Malcolm's offers locally grown fresh foods, mouth-watering flavors, an enhanced drink menu, and terrific service. Malcolm's is a sure bet during Saratoga season. Make your reservation today.
chain, lifting it up, lifting it up, lifting it up. Pin sagging gold grills, lifting, trilling the cut, trilling the cut.
Welcome back, Racing Across America. It is the last weekend. Things are winding down, and that means an annual visit from Capital OTB President John Signor. Good morning.
Seth, how you doing?
Very good.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
A little
Appreciate
recap and whatnot on
Yeah.
a nice 2018 Saratoga meet. Again, 4 more days left and some good racing, obviously. And, it looks like the weather is going to turn around. But I think for OTB, it has also been a good 2018 Saratoga season.
It's been a good meet. Yeah, it's been a good meet. The weather is a little challenging, obviously, the first 4 weeks, but
which can actually kind of benefit us because people will go to a parlor, maybe.
Yeah, but when you're taking that many turf races off and putting them on the main track, even yesterday, it has an impact on our business. So, but we've had a very solid meet. Very happy. Thanks to our bettors and fans for their loyalty and their support. One of the reasons we can do these shows and we're up here on the backstretch and is the support we get from our bettors and it's been a strong meet and I'm very happy with the way it's gone. We're up for the meet, which is considering all the, as I said, all the rain and so forth. Very, very happy with the way it's turned out so far. We have a few more days left, so don't stop betting yet. Right?
Again, I think it's going to be a great weekend, weather-wise and racing-wise. You look at that Woodward tomorrow, 14 horses. I think it just is an indication of what the weekend is going to be like. Also, during the season, promotions and our Times Union showdown, they've all gone well. The bankrolls all did well during the meet, so that was a lot of fun for some of our customers. And if folks aren't tuned into the Times Union, tune in because we're down 1.
Are we down 1?
With 4 days left, so it's exciting.
I saw it was neck and neck. We were tied. Yeah, we must have been tied yesterday, and then we lost. So it'll be fun the last 4 days. That's a good kind of competition between the two, you and us. And just on that note, we kind of missed Mike Jarvo and Matt Graves. Obviously, it's one of they were a big part of Saratoga for a long time. They were part of actually Capital OTB the last few years, so we missed them. But we're very happy with the way the programming's going up here. Congratulations to you. You're kind of the face of OTB up here, and you've done a tremendous job. Yeoman's work up here.
Thank you.
Brian really stepped in for Mark and Saturdays at the Spa. Brian's done a terrific job as well. I thought the programming's been great. The interviews. Also, Sully and Mike and Anthony. Anthony back in the mix was great. Tom Amello doing the blog. So we had the stable back together again, and very happy with the way it's gone. And it's like I said, it's been a very good meet, and it doesn't happen without the support of NYRA, obviously, right? So want to thank NYRA and Chris Kay and Dave O'Rourke, Stephen Travers, and Andy, obviously, and the whole Bill McCarthy, the whole team at NYRA. They've been supportive and helped us in every way to make the programming back here available and to make it happen. So we're very happy with their support and we thank them for everything they've done for the meet. And they've had a solid meet. I mean, it's been challenging for them too, obviously, and I think the meet's turned out as well as it can. And obviously, with the Travers Day was just a huge day, and tomorrow's going to be another great day of racing. So
last week is always a lot of fun. A little more relaxed, but the weather holds up. The racing's great. I told you before we went on the air, I was down at Andy's show having my regular hot turkey sandwich, and there was a couple sitting next to me that said, man, we really like the programming and the interviews and whatnot. I've gotten that all meet on the front side. A lot of great feedback, which normally down in the studio in Albany you don't get because we're in that little studio. But here, our target audience is right over there every day, so a lot of great feedback. So I'll throw it back to you, not to have a pat on the back session, but it's on you as the president and the board of directors. There was that board meeting right at the start of the season.
Yeah.
Talked to a lot of the directors, and they're happy about the programming up here. But it's thanks to you guys that we're able to also come up here every summer and do this, where some of the bigger names in the industry are literally a golf cart ride away.
Yeah, it's tremendous. And Capital. The great thing about this is our major league sports in upstate New York. And at least in the Capital Region area, it's horse racing in Saratoga. And I think Capital OTB is a big part of that. And, we partner with NYRA. NYRA is supportive of what we do up here. But, we love having the TV channel. We like providing all the programming, all the interviews, all the, behind-the-scenes information that you can't get anywhere else. We also do, we've been doing a lot of other things where we're traveling now. We're going to be at Woodbine for the Woodbine Mile. We were at, obviously, the Belmont Stakes. We went down to the Florida Derby. So we're really taking the TV, Saratoga Harness. We're at Saratoga Harness. So we're taking the TV station a little more on the road. So we're trying to use it to our advantage. And we're using it to promote racing, which is, what we're here for. Promote racing, get people involved, have them love the sport, and hopefully have them bet a couple dollars on some of the races.
Yeah, it's been fun. We were down at the Pegasus also, and that was fun. Got to interview Frankie Dettori. I didn't know whether that was going to be on my resume, but that was fun. Pegasus weekend. Again, it's certainly been a lot of fun. A couple of weeks at the Woodbine Mile, so we're looking forward to that as well. And overall, OTB going into the fall, what's the game plan there? I mean, we're kicking back off. Because I got the schedule, I got Shannon in marketing contacted me. Bankrolls will kick back off down at the Racebook coming up in September.
Yeah, we're going to come right back, I think, September 7th, the first Friday. I don't know who's doing the bankroll yet, if anybody's still around. Everybody's probably going to be on vacation. But no, we're coming right back with a bankroll on, I think, September 7th, which is opening day at Belmont. At the clubhouse. So we're going to have a lot of things going on. Obviously, NFL football is going to be coming, is going to be starting, college football. We'll have all the games at the clubhouse, so it's gonna. We're looking for a great fall as well. I can't believe the meet's over, to be honest. It's amazing. You walk in on opening day, it feels like you never left, and then you blink your eye, and it's the end of the meet. It is the most amazing thing up here, but it is the best place on earth. And I was talking to my buddy the other day. I go, we've spent like 40 days up here, like we haven't gone anywhere else, but. It's a great spot, and you can't recreate this anywhere else. It's amazing that this is in our backyard, and we're lucky to have it, and we're very happy to be a big part of it at Capital OTB, and we're happy that NYRA supports us, and we're happy with the partnership we have with NYRA, and good luck to them going forward with the Belmont Fall Championship meet.
Yeah, I always say we have the best TV set in all of horse racing, and NYRA putting us right here in front of Clare Court. It's great each and every day. And again, we were talking before we went on the air, and we should take the chance to remind people, if you're watching and you're not from this area, you come up and watch during the meet, because I have had a number of people say this to me. Love the programming, love watching in the morning, love the interviews, wish we could watch it at home. People can't watch it at home.
Absolutely. You can watch it online, at capitalotb.com. The programming's always available. Download the app. You can watch the shows. I do that too. I'll go for a run in the morning. I'll turn the app on, and I'll listen to it as I'm going for a run. So absolutely. Download the app. Go on iTunes or Google Play. Go online at capitalotb.com. Open an account. But it's always available. We're going to continue to do a lot of programming. We're going to, as I said, we're going to be at Woodbine Mile, I think.
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks. 2 weeks from now. I mean,
amazing.
So we keep it cranked up for going forward, and then we'll be down in Florida eventually, and hopefully, I don't know, you were going to reach out to the NTRA and see if we could do something around that with the big handicapping contest in Vegas.
Maybe, that'd be fun.
So we'll see what happens there, but we're very happy to provide the information we do to the bettors, and we hope that they enjoy the programming and they follow along year round. It doesn't stop It doesn't stop on Monday. We keep the shows going. We'll be on, and then we'll probably go back to OTB Live, where we'll have, handicappers on during the day,
the afternoons are fun. From my perspective, and I got some feedback that other folks liked it as well. We added that last year, and that afternoon is fun because the morning handicapping reports are great too, but in the afternoon you can look at the odds and kind of twist things around a little bit. You know what? At 8-1, this horse is a little bit. Plug this one.
And you get to see the way the track's playing, and Absolutely. So you get to give a little more information as well. So, and I want to also thank our sponsor, Seth. Obviously, Woodbine has been terrific. They've been with us all year. Pinnell's I went there Travers night and had dinner. It was great. So thank you to them. Malcolm's in Schenectady. I'm going to go there actually tomorrow. I'm going to head over there tomorrow, and the Diamond Club. With Stuart over there, he's been terrific. Stuart DeVoe. So we, the spot, and that helps us as well. The sponsors help fund the programming, and we're happy to promote them. And you should go to their facilities and enjoy what they have to offer, because they're supporting racing. They're supporting Capital OTB. You should support them.
Yeah, I'll toss in Ninth Breeders' Cup and Equestricon also. We had
Peter Rotundo here
earlier from the Breeders' Cup. So thanks to all of them, because, it was a great season as far as sponsorship and the programming here. John, we'll let you go unless you have anything else to toss in.
Terrific season, terrific meet. Congratulations to Naira. Thank you, Seth. You've done a great job. And everybody, Brian, as I said, Sully, Mike, Anthony, Tom Amello, the whole gang, Dick Powell, doing the play of the day. So very happy with the way the meet's gone, and good luck to everybody the rest of the meet.
Yeah, the last 4 days of the meet. And again, today they have the giveaway if you're coming up to the track. Previous giveaways from this season you can get for $5. Previous year's giveaways you can get for $2. That'll be by the Clubhouse Grandstand Exchange. So you can come up and maybe take advantage of that today on Friday here at the racetrack. As far as OTB, don't forget Bounty Bet today. Jump in the late pick 5 with your Capital OTB Bets account. You can get a shot at that $800 bounty. And again, I've said for the last couple of days, I'm going to keep reminding folks, and I think there may be a slate that we put together. Get in touch with us. If you like the programming, we would love to hear from you. I get the great feedback on the front side, but I'd like the guys in the control room to hear from you as well. We got some nice feedback yesterday via viewer mail. But just send us an email and tell us what you like about the programming, maybe what you would like to see next year added on. If you have some suggestions, we'd love to hear that as well. Viewer mail at capitalotb.com, or you can reach out to us via Twitter or Facebook as well. We'd love to hear from you. Take a couple of minutes to do that. All right, going to wrap things up for Racing Across America on this Friday morning. Tomorrow morning, back in with handicapper support at 9 o'clock. Saturdays at the Spa at 10, so have some fun and make some money this afternoon. Come back here tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. We'll see you then.
You've been watching Racing Across America with Seth Merrow. Racing Across America has been brought to you by CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier online wagering site in New York State. CapitalOTBBet.com. Sign up today. Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. Thoroughfan, giving the fan a voice. Find them at thoroughfan.com. Woodbine Racetrack. Pick, bet, and cheer on world-class horse racing north of the border. And the new Capital OTB mobile app. Wager anytime, anywhere. Download it free from the iTunes Store or Google Play.